Hi friends, it's time to return to the standard newsletter vibe again. Thanks to my grandfather, Gabe, for handling last week's. To make it up to you, this newsletter, and those in the future, will have audiobook versions attached as private SoundCloud links. Click here. To be honest, I could have found time to write the newsletter last week, but I chose not to, because some little thing in my heart urges me to change every day and to not repeat myself. But the cool thing about words is that you just rearrange them and then it changes. I've been in Paris this week, enjoying an extremely uneventful time of doing nothing and just sitting and walking around. The thing about Paris is that it's so beautiful and rich that you feel a constant dread that you're not enjoying it to its maximum capacity. I'm always comparing myself to other citizens, wondering how they spend their days, how much of each day's composition is spontaneity, plans, work, pleasure. There must be a perfect balance, and I'm certain people here have found it. What should I be doing right now? Laughing in ecstasy with my girls at brunch? Enjoying a nice sculpture? Smoking a cigarette but not inhaling all the way because it makes me feel crazy sometimes and I want to look cool? Profoundly interact with my mortality at that one famous cemetery? How should I be? I make an effort to stop philosophizing about these things and try something new in order to get to the bottom of it for good. I decide to shadow someone, completely follow them around for one day. It was 2 days ago when it happened. I'm sitting inside a cafe frowning at a burnt omelet. She's probably 70 years old or so, her too long white hair trailing behind her bony spine, its completely frazzled ends sticking in curves to the massive black velvet jacket that encases her frail yet commanding body. From the armholes of the jacket are two tiny hands, with veins fully exposed under pink, almost fin-like webbed skin. Her hands wield a maroon leash linked to a massive cream-colored Afghan hound with dreads that walk into the bistro like it was its second home. It points its head left and right in rapid succession, its beautiful face framed by endless mounds of off-white tubes of hair that seem to absorb every thought of every person it encounters. The woman is greeted with a dap and a bro hug by the host, alongside a plethora of "Ah, madame, bienvenues," and "what ups" from the rest of the staff. They quickly move into familiar conversation, the host complaining about how loud the hoodlums on his block have been. They keep blasting music too loud. The lady nods. The staff ask her what she's listening to in her cushiony, too big white headphones. The woman says, in a clear-as-day American accent, the new Yeet album, which is great. And the whole staff agrees in unison, escorting her to her corner table by the window, in between nods of stern affirmation. The restaurant knows how she likes her eggs. They bring out 2 eggs, a little runny, topped with a smattering of chopped scallions. She cuts open the yolk. It's a bit too wet. She picks up her newspaper and looks at it a little funny. The staff is alarmed and disappointed that the eggs are not perfect. There's too many wrinkles around her mouth today. They know they screwed up, and they persist harder. They know that she prefers to eavesdrop and not to talk. They ham up their conversation and exaggerated abstraction, as if they all just did lines of coke and are trying to nail an audition for the role of jovial maitre d'. As always, the woman pretends not to notice, but enjoys the performance from behind her massive sunglasses that cup her withered eyes like a plastic hand peekabooing her expressions. She's writing a lot of words, frantically now. She's scared of being bored, or something. And suddenly she's bored of that, too. She gets up to leave, quickly, emphatically. She grabs the leash and her breathing mound of dreads, strutting out the door in one quick motion. I scramble over to her seat. Her writing left an imprint on the paper placemat on the table. I decide to extract her writing from the placemat, forensic style, grabbing a piece of scrap paper and lightly brushing a pencil against the surface. The words start to appear on the paper in negative space, and I'm reminded of Tom Riddle's diary from Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter and other detective hero children of 2000's tween lit. From what I gathered, the white-haired woman had written a short little poem story, like so. Everyone was amazed when they first saw the duck. the one in the news that one day sprung from a lily pad to go chase a bee, and in the process walked across a dozen pianos, delicately plucking the keys in near-perfect rhythm. All the musicians in the park surrounding the duck's pond were flabbergasted, pissed, juked, freaked out, 'cause this duck had more swag than them. People couldn't look away from the duck as its wet little paws plucked sweet melodies from all the world's pianos. The saxophone player looked at his sheet music with renewed vigor, searching for answers, furrowing his brow in confusion. Meanwhile, the duck plucked along, looking for the bee. It made a symphony of play, a laugh-based sonnet where the only guiding rule was smile, quack, and splash. Without realizing it, the duck had touched the hearts of thousands of park-goers, who put down their silly little books and instead looked at the bee and its buzzing circuits. Everyone who saw the duck followed the path of the bee for the rest of their days. My hands are now covered in graphite smudges, and the bistro staff thinks I'm creepy, and just heard my surprisingly too deep, not that feminine voice as I mumbled the first lines of the poem. They start to spaz out. I was leaving anyways. I'm going to chase the lady. She's just outside the street, entering Parc des Buttes Chaumont. She runs into a friend and I eavesdrop from 10 feet away. She laughs about a realization she had last night at the party, that she can tell a Frenchman from a Brit by the width of his eyebrows, or that such an observation would be cool to make, so she'll say it anyways. She typed it on her smartphone when she thought of it, but the damned phone auto-corrected eyebrow to the name of her ex's dog. A quick nod and a kiss, and she's through the park, arriving at church for Portuguese mass. Clearly, she does not understand the priest as he speaks in the lush, languid language. She wishes to hear the music, but not to understand. She curls her locks of tired, straight white hair into bunches in her hand, dropping them in front of her lap, seeing how it interacts with her olive-colored handbag. She goes on Instagram, pausing her scroll every 5 minutes to listen to the choir. No one tells her it's rude to be on her phone during Mass. Like me, the clergy is fiercely intimidated and shockingly stagnated by her too long white hair and her adorable dreaded dog. She leaves the church and hops on the phone after the first half of the Mass, best half, musically. From what I can tell, her friend is considering coming to Paris to finish her book, but the lady shoots her down, saying Paris is like Squidville on acid. The city's timeless beauty is disabling and flattens any artist residing here, forcing them to have the same, quote, washed-up realizations about life and other adjacent subjects, unquote. She's almost spitting into the phone at this point about how Paris launches you, without consent, into a naive cosplay of historical importance and individualistic delusions of grandeur. She's looking out at the ducks in the pond at the same park as before. Life shouldn't be rich. It should be plain and beige, thereby setting a simple base standard against which enriching experiences can be compared. The sun peeks out from behind the clouds, finally, and the lady sneezes, making a dab gesture with her arms as she sneezes into her left elbow. The world has reached dusk, and I'm thinking of chasing the bee back home. I miss my childhood bedroom in St. Louis, and I'm filled with love thinking of mispronouncing French and German words, a trade that Midwesterners have made into an art form, committing to the erroneous in a big way until we have no need of knowing that it's technically wrong. I vow to stop knowing things, to pronounce Milan, Mylin, like my grandpa did, and to furrow my brow 10 seconds less per day. I look up and the lady is now submerged waist-deep in the pond, pog-facing at a swarm of bees that have jumped out from behind the bushes in a playful flight. She screams, "Bruh!" as the ducks start to quack in confusion. Her white hair curls in wet spirals around her waist, fusing with the algae and creating a white and green algal keratin tutu. The sharp golden light reveals her eyes from beneath her sunglasses at last, 2 smiling almond pods of wrinkled-up Venus flytrap skin fabric. Her eyes aren't reminiscent of anything, or weathered, or betraying. There's no former glamour or any stories of the past. They are just simple cacophonies of beelines and love songs. I jump into the pond, too, and we're both instantly enriched by the shared experience. Certainly yours, Angel.